Good afternoon, folks. This is Alex at Shallibodhran, and I wanted to do a supplemental video. I said I was going to put one up because in the Bridget Drums line review that I did, I said in it that originally I didn't want to compare a Bridget drum to the Christian Hedwitschak Coreline. You know, here it is. This one is my own Coreline. So there's a reason. Originally I stated in the video because the sounds were, one, very different between the two, and number two, the cost. Well, I still stand by that. The two do have a fairly broadly different discrepancy in price. But if we're just going to go and take shipping charges and things completely out of the situation, now that is hypothetical, I'm actually going to do a separate review now about why. Keep in mind in the future I am going to be doing a Coreline review for the Bullet. I only have the Bullet, but I will be talking about it. But I want to look at specifically, because I have a 14-inch of both drums, I want to talk specifically about the 14-inch drums here. First and foremost, the two are both laminates. One is a cherry laminate, and you can see. The other one, as I mentioned before, is a maple laminate. The cherry is pretty much a general natural cherry, and the Bridget Drums is a painted, and I'm going to bring it nice and close here on an angle. You see how there's a texture? See it? Bridget Drums puts micro beads into the paint, which gives it the coppery look. Instead of having it just be this brown color, it actually comes out looking metallic. Second big difference between the two drums is that one is taped and one is not. The Coreline is fully taped out. The Bridget Drums doesn't come taped. And the third major difference are the skins. Originally, I didn't talk too much about the skin difference. When I got the Coreline drum, the skin feels now the way that the skin felt when it came out of the box. Now it's been played in a little bit more. You can see I tend to favor this spot right through here. And the Bridget Drums, I haven't had time to completely beat it in. It's, you know, I've had these drums less than 2 weeks. So when you pull this one out of the box, it's already very smooth, including the back. The back is also already very smooth. But, and hopefully my microphone can pick up both of this, I'm going to run my hand on the back, and I want you to listen. So this is the Bridget drum before it's been beaten in. The Coreline. Not a whole lot difference in sound on the inside, but the difference is when the Coreline comes to you, it's very velvety on the inside. The Bridget drum does not come with the velvety sort of feel on the inside. It's just how the skin is treated and how it's put on and whatnot. Something important to note is that both skins will beat in, but the ones that are going to change the most are going to be on the on the Bridget drum. So you are going to get a different aging process between the two drums. Okay. For sound difference, you are going to hear that the Coreline has a more compressed sound. It really shines having a very omnipotent sort of sound. But what it lacks a little bit is the dynamic range. But this was specifically designed into this drum. The Bridget drum, by comparison, and it's too bad this drum is less than a year old because you would hear it more bassy than it actually is right now, is that you get a lot more high-end, like the higher frequencies, higher in the mid-range. So the two have very, very, very different sort of sounds for the most part. And of course, one's taped and one's not. I'm going to turn it this way. Hopefully the video doesn't ruin. But the Hetty is far more chamfered, and the Bridget is rounder. And that also does something to the sounds too. Okay? The Bridget comes with trim work. The Hetty doesn't. It's taped out. And they both look great. I mean, one is a minimalized sort of look. Kind of looks like a Duracell battery, squished Duracell battery. It is very minimalistic and very clean. And the Bridget drum, by comparison, is more ornate. Recommending one over the other, that's not the purpose in this video. I'm not recommending one over the other, but rather that the sounds are very, very different. This one is warmer for now. We'll see what happens in the future between the two. But right out of the box, this is a warmer drum. I can tell you that for certain. If you want presence and warmth, this is good. But if you want dynamics and range, this is different, and this is good. The two have strengths and weaknesses, considering. This is heavy. This is very light. I can lift that with a finger and play it. On the inside, the tuning systems are different. Both have, here we go, 6 tuning lugs, but the Bridget uses a tool assist, and the Hedwitschak one doesn't. And the reason why, I go back and I say the Hedwitschak tuning system is my favorite, because of I can get my entire finger behind that. But if you saw a tuning system that was similar, even if it was similar to the Faulkner tuning system or the Dermot O'Kane or the Seamus O'Kane tuning system on this drum, maybe something, because of how thin the frame is, something like the old Christian Hedwigschak tuning system, which was more vertically designed, I would have a very hard time making any complaints about the tuning system. When it comes to the actual interior of the drum for where your hand can go, the Bridget Drums is much bigger because everything is mounted to the frame on the tuning ring. In the Hetty, in many Hettys, you have a tuning ring that's actually part of the structure. And then in here. And if you're wondering why I have wood, focus. 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 If you're wondering why there's a piece of wood there, it's because I live in Ontario and our humidity is insane sometimes. So this just adds a little bit more tuning stability for me. So, it depends. Like, if you're going to go out and pick one between the other, and when I said that one is not in competition with the other, I am actually going to go back on that and say it is absolutely in competition with it. And it's in competition with it because of what it can do. The Coreline 14-inch and the Bridget Drums 14-inch are in direct competition to each other. They're much higher quality than the Waltons and Roosbeck drums. Park McNeila drums also I would actually put into this too, because they are high quality as well. But these two are also very high quality. They just have different design philosophies put into them. Very German, solid, very highly engineered, less engineered for the Canadian design, but it has a very distinctly different sound. Of course, you out there in the world may end up buying one of these, and then maybe in a year you end up taping the drum like I did with my old Waltons. And you know what? That's perfectly fine. I mean, it's your drum. You treat it the way you want to. But I cannot recommend one over the other. I am going to point out that the two drums have very distinct sounds. And that's the great thing about the Bodhrán world. You have distinct differences. What you also have is about a $50 to $60 difference between one drum and the other. Okay? So you have to keep in mind, if you are budgeted and living in Canada, this is going to be a better buy right out of the box. However, if there are particular sounds, like if you've played Hedwigschak models and you like them, spring for the extra $50 for shipping. It's worth it. but neither one is particularly better, but they are in direct competition. And actually, when I said the price difference was something to knock them out of comparison, actually the price is something to consider. You know, so what I said earlier, you know, the observations I made, I think were fine, but I also think that how I explained it was actually not so good. I think I should have explained it a bit better, because these are right up there in my opinion with the Coreline series, you know, which puts it smack dab in the middle of very similar drums. So, you know, get out there and ask questions, you know, write to Christian Hedwitschak, write to Russell at Bridget Drums, ask questions, watch my video where I did the entire line, and you be the judge. I'm just here to suggest things. See you, folks.